I want to give insight into why I say that only the Israelites will be able to understand what is written in the Bible. When I'm asked about it, there are two scriptures I go to immediately to prove this, but here I'm going to go into detail showing that this is expressed throughout the Bible in the Old and New Testament. But we'll start with the two verses that I usually go to. First we'll go to Deuteronomy chapter 29 verse 29. The secret things belong unto the Lord our God, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. Any secret works that have not been hidden from humanity entirely are revealed to us alone. And the second verse is in Amos chapter 3 verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. God makes his plans known to his servants, and we know from Isaiah 45 and verse 4, Jacob or Israel are the servants of the Most High. Now we can elaborate on the other scriptures showing the same sentiment and his disdain for the other nations. We'll start in Psalms chapter 147, and I'll read verses 19 and 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. The covenant was made with us. He has not entered into a similar agreement with any other nation. In Psalms chapter 79, I'll read verse 6. Pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee, and upon the kingdoms that have not called upon thy name. The other nations have never known the Most High, despite the fact we have 2 billion Christians, and we can say the same for Muslims as they claim to serve the same God. But now we can go to the book of Esdras, where he is talking to God, reminding him that the other nations don't keep God's law, and that's in 2nd Esdras chapter 3 and verse 36. Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. So far I've only shown Old Testament proof that the Most High wouldn't reveal his work to the other nations. So next we'll go straight to Christ and see what his sentiments were. We're going to start in the book of Matthew chapter 13 and verses 10 and 11. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? And he answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. So Christ did not want the other nations amongst them to know of the kingdom. It's often assumed Christ brought a new message to all nations. I went through the error in thinking that in the video about the apostles I did, explaining that this wasn't true, but I didn't go back into the Old Testament to show what Moses said the Messiah would actually do when he came. And we can read that in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 18, and I'm going to read verses 18 and 19. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. So the Messiah would not change God's plan. And we know from the book of Malachi chapter 3 verse 6 that God doesn't change his mind. What he planned in the Old Testament, we still see in the New Testament. So we'll go back to the book of Matthew and we'll read chapter 11 and verse 25. At that time Jesus answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes. The same things going on in this verse is exactly what is happening today. For 2,000 years, the Bible has been in churches and in universities, and they still haven't figured out how to read this book. Whereas only 5 years ago, I was an atheist, and true understanding has been given to us in ways the Bible scholars could only dream of. God has a reason for all of this happening. We're going to read 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verses 27 and 28. But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty, and base things of the world, and things which are despised have God chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are. The Most High did not want this message to come from the educated. He's purposely lifted us up from the low position to bring the message to the rest of the family. We get that same sentiment in Colossians chapter 1 and verse 26. even the mystery which hath been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints. So he writes here of the mystery hid from times past finally being revealed to us, the saints. I'm going to read the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So the visions of the past were meant for us to decipher now in the end days. We can see when they were hidden in the book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So 500 years before Christ was born, the understanding of the prophecies would be hidden for about 2,500 years. This lets you know that every doctrine or Christian denomination that came about in the last 2,000 years is wrong. That would include things like the virgin birth or Gentile salvation, the Prophet Muhammad, or the lost tribes. During this time, the book was sealed so that nobody could make sense of it. We can see in the book of Revelation when the seals were opened, but I'll say that for another time. So now we'll read the book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verses 11 to 13. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. Wherefore the Lord said, Forasmuch as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honour me, but have removed their heart from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precepts of men. So all common understandings of the Bible are just the precepts of men. The Most High hates this corruption of his words. We can see that in the book of Psalms, and we'll go to chapter 50 and read verses 16 and 17. But unto the wicked God saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee? So they only corrupt the law and the Bible that was given to us. We shouldn't be listening to them. And we can get that from Proverbs chapter 14 verse 7. Go from the presence of a foolish man, when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. We have to remind ourselves how we even got to this point where other nations are attempting to teach us about the Bible that was given to us as an inheritance. We'll read the book of Amos, and we'll start with chapter 3 and verse 2. This is God referring to the Israelites. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. So we are being punished because the Most High cares for us. But this wasn't a surprise. We knew this would happen. This is what God told Moses in Deuteronomy. I'll read chapter 31, verses 16 and 17. And the Lord said unto Moses, Behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people will rise up and go whoring after the gods of the strangers of the land, whither they go to become among them, and will forsake me, and break my covenant which I have made with them. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, Are not these evils come upon us, because our God is not among us? So God was letting Moses know in that moment, which was the moment when he gave us the commandments, that we would be eventually be punished. But this was not forever. We can see that from the book of Isaiah, chapter 54. I'm going to read verses 7 and 8. For a small moment I have forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer. He would return to restore us eventually. This is the importance of the understanding of the Bible coming to us alone and not the other nations in case they try to stop us. I'm going to read from the book of 1 Peter chapter 2. I'm going to read verses 9 and 10. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of God, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. Now let me read Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. And I'm just going to finish with Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I the Lord am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. So these are 3 verses where we see he separates us from the other nations. And if you really want an idea of his sentiments towards the other nations, this is made very clear in Esdras. I'm going to read 2nd Esdras chapter 6, and I'm going to read from 53 to 56. Upon the 6th day thou gavest the commandment unto the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. So Esdras is giving an account of the creation story again to God. So God carry on in verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest, Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. So he's making a distinction here between humanity in general, which is Adam, and the people that were chosen, which is the Israelites. So verse 55. And I have spoken before thee, O Lord. All this I have spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. That's the Israelites in verse 56. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So he's saying, like, the billions of them are like a drop that falls out of a full bucket of water. They are nothing to him. Knowing that these other nations mean nothing to the Most High, why would he give them better understanding of his word than to us who he loves and separates from? We're going to read the book of Malachi again, chapter 3 and verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not, therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. And in the book of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 25. The days of the life of man may be numbered, but the days of Israel are innumerable. There will never be an end to Israel, his chosen people. The secrets of the Bible were given to you to understand, and not the heathen. So I think I'm going to finish this one here. All praises to the Most High.